Floss Tube, it's Jen, also known as Quirks and Stitches. I'm doing a thing and I'm filming on another Monday. I think Mondays are going to be the day. Today almost didn't happen, I will be completely honest, because I was pretty sick this weekend, and you can probably still hear it in my voice. I've got a mug of tea to keep me company tonight. I'm going to really try to keep this on your side. I don't like the handles on this side. But then you can't see what's on it, and it just looks like I have a blue mug, and that seems wrong. So I'm going to try to remember like you really care. This is my Fox mug. I have some tea. What's that? Iced lemon loaf. It's like my favorite thing at Starbucks, and so it's their Tazo tea. It's really good. A little weak, but it's really good. I wasn't going to film because I didn't really think that I had that much to talk about, but you're used to my rambles, so you can handle it, or it'll be short. Either way, figured I need to be consistent. Watson, true to form, is wandering the house. The dog that doesn't move all day long and sits on the couch and sleeps is busy. We've already taken away one toy, started once and had to stop because her chewing was way too loud. I don't know if anybody out there has a dachshund, but she is the most aggressive chewer I've ever met. Like, she's 20 pounds. And we get the bark boxes, but we have to get like super chewer box because she destroys anything. She destroyed a Kong ball in like less than 20 minutes. Destructive dog. But anyway, that's what's happening here. It's Monday. I stitched a lot this weekend. I really was pretty, I don't know what I had. I don't know if it was the flu. I don't know if it was just a bad cold. Usually I'm pretty good with colds, but man, I got home from work Friday and I was just like, I am dead. And so I was coughing, and I have lung issues anyway. I was a preemie baby. I was born really early. My lungs aren't very developed. That is mayhem because Monday nights are apparently animals are alive in my house. Oh well. But it was a good week of stitching. Yeah, the weekend I ended up getting more stitching done just because I wasn't comfortable laying in bed, so I sat and stitched. So I'm almost done with my 24-hour acrostic for the month of, what are we in, August? I will be releasing the September acrostic. I know what it is. It should be out probably, I'm hoping, tomorrow. I just have to edit the form because I realized as I was rereading the printables from last month that there were a lot of typos and nobody told me. So, I mean, thank you guys for not like editing me and being like, Jen, you can't proofread, but also somebody could have told me that I needed to proofread a little better. Like my mother or Brandon, who looked, I don't know that Brandon saw it before we put it up, but my mom did. And I noticed quite a few mistakes. So sorry about that. I'm usually a little more perfectionistic. Oh well. September's will be coming out. I will be completely honest, I just want to skip to October. I am so excited about October Marathon. I really can't wait. And I actually pulled like a bunch of my patterns for Halloween that I'm thinking about starting. Normally I'm pretty secretive about what I'm going to be stitching, and I've decided why. Like, if somebody has it and wants to stitch it with me, and that's more fun. So why am I going to be like, nobody knows what I'm stitching? So I have those to show today. I have what I worked on this week. I am so sorry about this animal situation. Really don't know what's going on. Brandon, I got home from work, and Brandon and I went out to the hardware store because we did do a live streaming. I mentioned at the end of my video last week. We did a live streaming on his Twitch channel on Wednesday, and it was a lot of fun. So I kind of joined in, and we both stitched, and we had this like interesting little setup in our office. I have kind of a folding table as my desk because I'm not in there as much as I'd like to be. So I don't have the most comfortable setup, but he had bought me a tripod that I was going to be able to use to film, but we didn't really think about like the placement of it. So we sat down like 20 minutes before we were going to start doing this, and I was very stressed. I was a little grumpy. It was a little bit of a stressful time when he was probably like, I really wish that I was not doing this with Jen. You know, like my mom and I get with 24 hours, he was kind of like, she's invading my space, and it's not fun now. And so I sit down at the table, and it's a really nice little like clip tripod thing that he got, but he had it clipped like right in front of me so that it would shoot right down on my stitching and see it right way. But it was like right in my stomach, and I was like, I'm gonna knock this off. I'm gonna be so like paranoid about knocking it and everything. So we ended up moving it to the like corner of the table, and I was like kind of like angled around it the whole time, and I just kept complaining about being uncomfortable. Because what is a night of Jen doing something without complaints? But it was a lot of fun, and we had a whole bunch of people that joined in. I didn't make a list of who popped in. I know Donna Ray came in, Carla came in. There was somebody from Australia, thank you so much, in New Zealand. And yeah, it was so much fun. Glenn, you popped in. Danielle, like there were so many people that just popped in. It was so much fun to be able to talk to you guys in that way, in that format of kind of like a real live type thing. So we're going to be trying to make that as consistent as we can for now. It's going to be on Wednesdays, and it will be from 6 o'clock to 9 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. And we're just going to try it and see. He also does video game streaming on his Switch. So he also does that on Fridays. And so he keeps that schedule pretty specific. So if video game isn't your thing, that's fine. But just know that we will be there on Wednesdays. So it's been fun. It's nice to be able to have something that I do with him. Because honestly, like we haven't board game nearly as much as I would like us to be doing. You know, life's just gotten crazy. And so it'll happen. We'll get back to it. Just hasn't been. So it's been nice to have this kind of thing that crosses both of our interests, because he's really into like the videoing and the streaming and that kind of stuff, and I'm really into the cross stitch, so it works. I don't know what I'll be stitching on yet. I guess it depends how far I get on my plans for the acrostic, because I only have till Saturday to finish the acrostic. So I have not been recording in my journal. The whole month of August was blank on my cross stitch journal, which I'm usually pretty good at. I'm kind of recreating as I go, because I pretty much take pictures whenever I sit down to stitch anyway. So I'm pretty much just going back and seeing what I was kind of stitching on each day. Just so I like to have that record of the daily kind of log. Why? I don't know. Like, I don't look back at these journals. I don't, but what I'm talking about is this journal. This one. And so, yeah, you can see, like, August is just the blur. Blank mess. But there was a lot of stitching in there. I just have to fill it in. So I recreated this last week so that I can kind of show you. And I also made a list of where I am on the acrostic. The acrostic this past month was X Stitch Day. Some of the things I already showed you that I did, and I didn't pull the ones out that I'm completely finished on that I've already showed. So those were in last week's video. Maybe at the end of the month, I'll do like I'll have him splice together a recap. Maybe I should make a note that I want him to do that, because I will forget. But that would be good maybe for next week's video. I can splice together what my acrostic looked like for you guys with actual pictures. So yeah. Here I thought I'd be on for like 10 minutes and that would be the whole video, but I have been rambling for 10 minutes and coughing and haven't even showed you any cross stitch. I'm trying to think if anything else happened this week. I filmed on Monday, and then I went to work on Tuesday and came home, and all I wanted to do was stitch, and it rained and it thundered, and then there was no power. And I was super grumpy. You sense a theme. Jen gets grumpy, guys. And so it was honestly like, I was like, I'm just going to sit down in the basement in the dark. But I didn't. I decided I went upstairs. It was lighter upstairs. And I probably could have pulled like stitching out upstairs, but I didn't. I had a glass of wine instead. And then we went exploring the neighborhood to see where power was out for, and then it came back on, but it was out for a couple hours, and it just kind of ruined the mood. So I did I got a little bit of stitching done on Tuesday. And so I did finish one of the acrostics. I don't know if it's better to go down in order or tell you like chronologically when I stitched. I think I'll go down in order. No, I think I'm the opposite is what I meant. They're in chronological order in my pile. So I pulled out Good Intentions, which is what I started for 24 hours of cross stitch. have my handy little thing. I only got like 100 stitches in on it on Monday or Tuesday, but didn't have a whole lot of time. But it finished me up for one of the challenge groups that I'm in. So I'll put 100 more stitches in on this. And yeah, I'm really liking it. I have to figure out a good flesh color for the girl. Did I show the pattern? I might have. I don't know. Doing a floss toss, grabbing as I go. A couple of you messaged me for the link for these journals. I will post it below in this video. I bought a pack of these, 50 of them. It was like 40, it was less than $50. So it's less than $1 a journal. And I'm keeping them in my project bags with my projects. I'm trying to make things more complicated than they need to be. They don't need to be that complicated. I don't have anywhere to put this stuff. I have tea bags. So I worked on that on Monday. I also worked on another one, but I'm saving that one till the end. I say this like I have to tell you exactly what is written in my journal, or I feel like I'm lying. When I was little, we had to memorize a poem and recite it to our class. And my poem was The Sin of Omission. I think it was by Stevenson, Robert Louis Stevenson. And it's all about how it's a sin to not tell all of the truth. I think I took it way much to heart. Very truthful. I don't know. Not in like, anyway. I pulled this out because I thought I was going to do it for the 24, no. When we streamed on Wednesday. I pulled this out, Quaker Fox First by the Work Basket. This is one of my Stitch 9 challenges. And I worked on it for a little bit, but it was really hard for me to count and try to like follow chat on Twitch. So I messed up. So I have to tear out this last row I messed up. So I have to tear that out and catch back up to where I'm supposed to be. And it's like a Quaker pattern, so it matters. So I didn't put that many stitches in on that sitting there. On Thursday, I pulled out Good Intent. Guys, my head hurts. Peacock, a unicorn, and a badger. I don't know what I was working on this for. Let's look at my notebook because it tells me what I'm working on things for. It was Magical Stitches homework. I have amended a little bit of how I am doing this. I had someone ask me if I could post like a screenshot of what I'm doing. I'm kind of tweaking these as I go. When I first started, you can see up here, I was trying to like count, I think I was doing like thread lengths, and those were all probably the same color scheme. So I was putting them all on the same row. Now what I'm doing is I'm trying to get my rows to add up to just a little over 100. So once I know that it's over 100, I start a new row so that I can easily look and be like, oh, I'm at about 500 stitches, or I have 5 rows and I'm going for 750 stitches. Let me add up and check because each row has a little bit more than 100 in it or something like that. It's been working for me. And I like that way better. So like you can see here, it's pretty much 2 thread lengths and then I cap it. So, I can get, this is 40 count fabric, and I'm getting between 67 and 80 stitches per thread length. And so I'm just logging 2 of them because then I know when I'm just eyeballing it, it's like 150 stitches. Make sense? 120, I know it's at least 100. And then I'm moving on to the next line. And then I'm putting what challenge I'm stitching it towards over on this side. I have changed it a little bit more on some of the other ones, and I'll show you that too. But so I got about 400 more stitches in on this, predominantly down here on the unicorn's leg and down in this fill-in area. There is a ton of fill. This is full coverage, but I like this piece so much. So I'm trying to make sure I don't not pull it out, because I don't want to have it be one that's sitting in my WIP basket for forever. I usually try not to drink my tea or whatever I'm drinking, usually it's not tea, too frequently, but because my voice is the way it is, I'm going to be drinking it more frequently. I pulled out Riley Harbor and I got a lot of stuff done on this. I also worked on this when we streamed on Wednesday. And I knew this is where Jen is messy and it's very hard for me to show you this mess. This was when I was still kind of learning my system. I don't really like all of these arrows and everything kind of intersecting like that. It makes me a little nervous. I'm not gonna lie. But you can see I was like, I don't know what I was doing. I was just adding lots and lots of numbers and it was becoming too hard to remember. And that's why I think I changed it to that. I'm going to try about 100 stitches per row. But I got up from here to here is my, I don't know what it is. Oh, from there to there was my first acrostic for the X Stitch Day. And so I used it for H for Riley Harbor. H Harbor, and then I decided I would also use it for D for because I'm gonna stitch a lyric from the December song on the bottom, so I also tied it in with D. So I got 2 acrostic letters out of this one. So I did a fair amount of stitching on this week. Yeah, like 2,400 stitches probably, close to. So I'm all done with the houses. I love this piece. I'm stitching it on 40 count Exemplar by Lakeside Linens. I am using the DMC. I've had a lot of people asking whether it's DMC or the NPI. It is DMC. And it is a true DMC conversion. I didn't change any of the colors there. All the called for DMC conversion. I'm going to finish all of the land things over here. So I think, or maybe I did. Maybe that was where I decided to stop. And then I'm going to go down and do the whale. So excited about the whale. Did I show the picture? I'll show it again. The whale. Really excited to stitch the whale. In the chart, this house, the windows aren't filled in. Like the border is there, but it was the only house that didn't have windows filled in. So I didn't know if it was a mistake, so I filled them in because I thought it would bother me more. It was this house. No, it wasn't. I lied. This house. It was just supposed to have the outline and then there was no anything in the inside, but I filled it in. I also did change, I said it was a true conversion. I did lie. This house, I believe, is not the color that it's supposed to be. It's one of the gray houses because one of them is charted to be the same gray as the whale and I wanted the whale to pop. So I did change that. I love it. Nautical Primitive is like my summer dream. True life. Pulled it out. This piece I love. His Eyes on the Sparrow. Started it a while ago with my mom. I'm using this for S for Sparrow. And I have a love-hate relationship with it because I love it. Like, I absolutely love it and I want it done. But my piece of fabric is so massively huge that I struggle no matter where I sit with it. So I'm stitching it on a piece of 36 count buttercream by Lakeside Linens. And I don't know. I haven't measured my fabric. I don't know if I just didn't cut it down. I mean, it takes the whole length because I did the whole all the way down, but like is it really that big? I don't think it's really that long. I don't know. I'm not a border stitcher, so I'm not going to go around and do the whole border. But I worked predominantly down on this section here. See, I don't even know. Hold on. Please hold. It's so big, guys. This is the struggle. Predominantly down in here, and I did like the cat and this one, finished him. I did this guy. I wasn't sure what color to do the antlers here because it didn't say, or I didn't look. It might have said. So I just decided whatever the hooves were, I would do the antlers with the hooves color because it kind of gave contrast. Somebody was asking on the Facebook group about it, so that's what I did. And I'm loving it, and I pull it out, and I really love it, but I sit, and I'm like, it's a blanket, and I don't know. So I'm trying to get all the way down so that I can start rolling it easier, and maybe that'll be easier, but but it already feels like I have a ton to roll, and I'm not even very far. apologize for the coughing. I should have grabbed my cough drops. I think they are upstairs. Let's see if this journal I'm starting to get a little neater. I'm starting to get my system down a little bit better. So you can see I started adding up here. I do a little square box and I list what I'm attempting to do with this, because like 24 hours of cross stitch, I do the 1200 stitches challenge for them. So I know it's going to take me maybe a little bit longer than a typical if I was just doing 100 stitches on it. So I've been trying to put like the box of what higher stitch count challenges I'm working towards, and then I remember not to double dip, or that I need to take a stopping picture and another starting picture. If you do not do the challenge groups, none of that makes sense to you, but if you do, I hope that it does. I've also started using lines like this instead of lines like that, because this makes my head happier than that. Kind of doing a combo of both, but this makes me happier. We'll see. So I got that one done. I've done 2 with this one as well. So I pulled out When Skeletons Dance, because I really am just craving all the Halloween stitching, like I said. And I don't know right now. My struggle is, do I want to try to finish as many of my Halloween starts between now and October so that I can start new ones? Or do I want to just not stitch Halloween for the next month, because October I want to stitch predominantly Halloween? And I don't know the answer to that question. I don't. So I did this one. This page doesn't make me too sad. I mean, it's kind of all over there, but it's kind of there. So you can see that I got the first acrostic done because it has an X in it. But then down here is where I started tracking for the second acrostic, because I'm using this for 2 letters. I didn't even show you what I'm stitching, did I? I did. I keep forgetting if I've done this. This is When Skeletons Dance. It is by the Drawn Thread. I'm using it for 2 letters. I'm using it for T for thread. And I'm using it for Y for the yellow moon. And all of those stitches for yellow moon are all on big yellow moon. I tried to mouth that word so that you guys wouldn't know that I was swearing. So you can kind of see what I've been doing with it. And it's getting a little messier. And then this page kind of makes me sad, but it'll get there. It just doesn't have any of the descriptors in it yet. I am stitching this on the same that I'm doing Riley Harbor on. It is a piece of 40 count exemplar by Lakeside Linens. I got most of the house done. I did a lot of work in the lettering. And this is why. I have a skein of Raven that I'm using for this project. I have a floss card made for it. This is all of the skein of Raven that I have left. This skein of Raven is predominantly black based. There's a slight green hint to it, but it is predominantly looks blackish. And so I started the lettering in it, and I did all of the house in it. Well, I don't have very much left, and I have a lot of lettering left. And I need to finish this house. And then this whole door is supposed to be black, and the cat over here is supposed to be black. So I went and I pulled my other skein of Raven that I'm using for Good Intentions. This skein is mostly green. And like noticeably green, like not black based. And it's what I'm using for Good Intentions. And you can tell when you're stitching with it that it is very, very green. So there is going to be a significant change in color if I switch to this for my lettering. So I am super stressed out about this because I do not think that this amount of thread is going to get me all the lettering done. I don't care if the door is a different color black, because the door doesn't have to match the rest of the house. So I can either use a different black or I can use the green based Raven. The lettering will bug me if it's a different dye lot. So now I checked at Craft Gallery and theirs is all very similar to the green one, not this one. So I have to maybe take a gamble and order some. I don't know. This is why hand-dyed flosses intimidate me, because I don't like it when dye lot changes. And when I ordered these, I didn't know how much I would need because I started this for Madness 2018. And I wasn't accustomed to stitching with over-dyed flosses. So this is my conundrum with this piece. I have almost 1,200 stitches in on the moon, and I had a lot of it done prior to working on this. This moon is huge. I don't know that I'm going to have enough of that thread either. This is Daisy, I think also by Gast. So I'm hoping that that one hasn't changed much. I'm hoping. I love this, though. I do have a mistake in pumpkins. The I is over, the I and an S. Those letters are over too far that way. But I'm not changing it. I don't care enough. So yeah, do I keep trying to finish or do I put it away until October? I don't know. Oh, guys, I don't know. So I have that one to finish for the Y. And then I have my, where did it go? Oh, it's over here. I have one letter left to do, which is T for X Stitch Day. And I'm going to be using the red and the black for the red and the black too. And this is where I am on this. The last time I showed this, things are flying. Oh, I'm losing my needle. Last time I showed this, I did have a contrast color in, and I didn't like it, so I tore it out. This I am doing on 36 count pair by Lakeside Linens, which is DMC, and I have not decided what my contrast color will be. This is a Stitch 9 challenge. So far, I have all but 3 of my Stitch 9 challenges done. This one, Riley Harbor, and Quaker Fox. I think I'll be able to do it. But I think September is going to be trying to finish those. Just because I know October I'm going to be wanting to do all Halloween things. So I don't think I want to be having to pull that out. So my Acrostic, X Stitch Day. X was Needlework ABC for X Stitch, because it's all about cross stitch and making X's. People were having a lot of trouble with X, and I just kind of figured it was a gimme because every project has lots of X's in it. S was his eyes on the sparrow, for S for Sparrow. T was When Skeletons Dance for the drawn thread. I was Good Intentions for intentions. T will be the red and the black 2 for 2. C was Cross Stitch Nation for cross. H was Riley Harbor, H for harbor. D was Riley Harbor because it makes me think of the Decemberists. A was And Rudolph, which was a finish, and the and for And Rudolph. And Y is When Skeletons Dance for that yellow moon. So I figured those out. I'm happy. I didn't really think I would get them done this month. This month was a bit awkward for me. I have not even looked at the holiday calendar. My second plan is that this week, if I finish the acrostic things before Saturday, that's going to be what I'm going to try to do. And I'm going to try to get 1,200 stitches on 12 of them. If I haven't, the rules for 24-hour things are that you can double dip. I don't care. If you do it for the acrostic, you can do it for the holiday calendar. Like, you don't have to do separate counting and separate things like that. I tend to, just because I'm me and I like to be a little extra, or not extra, more complicated and rule heavy on myself. But I don't want to limit anybody else that's going to be stitching. So I'm going to look through and see what I've stitched on this month that maybe I haven't counted towards anything, and see how many of the holidays I can tie into my stitching. Oh, I worked on something else. Please hold. Brandon, do you want to grab it for me? I don't know where it is. I just figure you'll cut this out, right? I'm back. I did stitch on one other thing this week. I don't know what made me think of it, but I pulled this one out. I'll show you the picture first. Cat on the Rug. This was my Pandemonium Memorial piece. I am not going to stitch the alphabet. I'm going to put in her name and her dates. So May of 04. 04 through May of 2019. And her name, and then I found a cat quote. So I'm going to do that. But the cat looks like Pandemonium. And so then I've been doing a floss toss for this as well, and kind of changing the colors. And I got to put a lot of the the browns in. So it's kind of, it's cinnamon by Gast. And it's such her body type. Like, it's exactly how her little pooch under there and just her straggliness. So I'm really happy. And I put like she had 2 little like Nike strips right there. So this is my pandemonium piece. So I got a bunch of stitches in on this one too. And I'm looking forward to a finish on that someday. Keep thinking I had a dream that she was alive, and it was very real and very vivid. So that's kind of what I've been doing. So yeah, my plan is if I get through the acrostic, I'm going to try for some of the holiday stuff. I make no guarantees. I will be releasing the acrostic and a holiday calendar for September. We have some plans for some other stuff we're going to be doing challenge-wise in the group, but we're going to hold off until January because we wanted to do, like, I know there were some people that were looking for something a little bit more, so we're thinking, and we have some ideas for like a year-long challenge that we'll be releasing as well, but we didn't want to rush it and do it mid-year. We figured we're this close to the end of the year, we're going to just kind of hold true to what we've been doing and finish out with the marathons and the challenges like we've been doing. So that is a plan and something that you can be looking forward to that will be happening in the future. But that's kind of my thing. I was gonna start a high tea start on Sunday, but I felt like crap and didn't want to. I don't know. I just didn't want to have that be my focus when I didn't feel good. I wanted to stitch on something I didn't enjoy. No, I don't. It just takes a different amount of effort to start something new. And I didn't have anything. Wasn't able to get the floss that I wanted for the Wild Ass Sal. And then I was going to start one that I'm stitching for my friend because she just had a baby and I owe her that badly. But I didn't have the floss pulled. And it's a different type of thinking when you're starting something than when you're just sitting and stitching on something. So, we didn't even watch any movies this weekend. Usually we sit and do our movie chain game and I couldn't even focus on that. So, I took extreme NyQuil and I woke up like... I must have slept in like the most ridiculous positions because I hurt everywhere. So yeah, it was just kind of a miserable weekend. And so comfort stitching was what I needed. Comfort stitching and matzo ball soup, which are both things that I got. So I'm happy about that. So I didn't start high tea. I think I'm going to start high tea. I still want to do a September high tea. I'm just going to have a belated one. August, because we aren't in September yet. So I'm thinking on Saturday. That's going to be my plan, that I'll start something on Saturday. I hope. I would like to. I really like high tea. And I already have a September start planned. So I pulled some of my Halloween stuff to show you what I'm thinking about for dark October stitching that I will be coinciding with the October 24-hour marathon. That you are welcome to stitch Halloween, you are welcome to not stitch Halloween. As I said in my last video, I think it was my last video, one of the videos I did, we will be releasing 2 acrostics in October, one that will be a Halloween themed word and one that will not be a Halloween themed word. It will be a fall themed word. We are gearing not so much with time words. We're still trying to have some like connection to time, but there's only so many words you can do. So yeah, so that's kind of where we're at with that. So I pulled a bunch of my Halloween stuff, and I forgot, I'm glad I have this pile here. I got some really happy mail. I am part of a challenge group that some people have been asking about. It's right now they've limited the amount of people that are in it just because there are some like reward based things, and so they wanted to keep it small to make sure they could keep up with things like that. And I was able to score this. This is my first primitive needle piece. I'm so excited. So this will definitely be one of my October starts for 24 hours. Very, very, very excited to start this. But I figure I have to start planning for this because I have to get fabric and floss and all of the things. I haven't decided if I'm going to go big or small. I have 18 right now. 18 Halloween pieces in my WIPS. I thought I had 17. It grew. Because I didn't count right. So, I have 18 that I've currently have going. And then I'm going to start whatever the difference is between 31, depending on how many I have going starting in October. Does that make sense? So if I finish any, I will start more things to equal 31. If I don't finish them, then I won't start more than 13. 13. Hey. No. Yes. Yes. I have these. I haven't decided. Maybe? I was going to start them for Mania, but I didn't. I pulled this one out. Away we ride. I also have the one in the Sisters book, the At Cock's First Crow or something. If I do a Blackbird, I think it'll be that one and not this one, but I didn't know where that one was at the top of my head, so it's a possibility. I don't know yet. This one I really want to do, and I want to do this one at 1/1. So I saw it, I think it was at the Crafty U. They have it stitched 1/1, and I fell in love with it. So Watson's a dachshund corgi, so I have the whole series of these, and just have to stitch them. So, but I love them little, so I will be doing that. I pulled this one out as a possibility. I pulled this out as a possibility at Jessie and Me. This one has a lot of specialty stitches. It's been in my stash for forever. If I do it, I will be changing it, so it won't be the specialty stitches. So I don't know. I have this one, which I love, Not Forgotten Farm. I think this one will definitely be because I did the Christmas one of these for the first 24 hours, and I like to make sure that I have a bunch of a series that I can swap out. So this one is high up on the list. And it's a nice that it'll be one small one, at least. I really like this one. I had not seen this, and I don't remember where I picked it up. Maybe Crafty U? It's full coverage, though. Lots of stitches. Pulled out this one, Stacey Nash. I probably wouldn't finish it as a sewing roll. This drawn thread. I do try, so I kept some in my stash. Like, I have another, like Simply Scary, I think is what it's called, but it reminds me a lot of When Skeletons Dance. So I try not to start a whole bunch that are the same style. So, we'll see. And then also I pulled this one out, Raven Bewitched. And I think that still leaves me at least one more start to possibly do. And I'll decide as it gets closer. But that's what I'm playing with now. I'd love to hear your plans if you're also thinking of doing an all Halloween marathon, or if you are not and what you're going to be doing instead. I love to hear your stitching plans. So thanks for putting up with my coughing. Thanks for listening to my rambles. Yeah, excited to be stitching with you guys, and be looking out in the 24-hour group for those September challenge stuff. They will be up hopefully tomorrow. Okay, thanks for being patient with me, guys. Keep putting in those X's. Bye.